Let's see. Let's get Facebook up and running here so we can see who's all here. Okay. It's this one. Okay. So that one's on there. We'll get the group on here. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. No, I was having issues with audio before, but it should be all right. Oh, I can hear me. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. That. Okay. Yeah. All right. We are all set now. So now I need. Okay. I think whisper quiet. All right. So I think we are all good here. Everything's good. I know it's Sunday night, Monday morning for a lot of people, but hey, ain't got nothing else going on. And I don't have work tomorrow, so it's kind of nice. What is that? Copilot, your everyday AI. That's new. What is this? Okay. Well, welcome everybody. How's everybody's weekend going? How is everybody? Hopefully doing all right. What else do we need to take a look at this? See if I can put this somewhere. It's basically a miniature drill press. It's really, really cool. Nice little fancy case. CCC3. All right, cool. What's up, Brian? So we're going to take a look at this really quick. So this it's by a company called Aeromax, and comes with all these nifty little bits. Pretty powerful drill. Very compact. We got it forward. We got it backwards. The LED does tell you which way it's going. So it's forward, backward, off. That's essentially what it is. So I don't know if there's an off. I think it just automatically turns off. Like, because it shows the LED on here. And it's got 4 little lights. But what's cool about this is that it is a drill press. So we have its base. We have its arm that we can press it into. Then our L2. Okay, so we have 2 screws and a locking screw, and then the foam pad. Okay, so we have our USB-C. We have all of our screws and everything in here. It's pretty much just a fancy looking box. What's that? Awesome. Don't need boxes any more than what I already have. How is everybody? Okay. We're going to take our screws and take our base. Put our 2 screws in here, which it does lock. What's up, Henry? How's it going, man? Just unboxing a newish older toy that I've had sitting around here for a little while. Finally getting around to unboxing it because I kind of lost it in the midst of garbage here. How's it going, Henry? One downfall of streaming on my platforms is that no audio. Still need to visit your workshop next time. Yeah, Creality was supposed to stop by in January, but of course the whole family got sick, and that wasn't going to happen. So, yeah. So it was unfortunate. I would have liked them to stop by and, chit chat a little bit, but oh well. Okay. So foam pad goes underneath here. Yeah, so basically what it is it's a miniature drill press. So you take this little thing, drop it into here, that locks in, and then you have a drill inside of it. So by the way, Henry, are you planning to come to Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Fest? I will be going there. So yeah, he lives kind of close. He's probably about 40 minutes from me. So he lives kind of more on the south side. Actually, it's probably not about it, depending on traffic. It depends, but okay. So we have this bar. Okay. It was on this side. Okay. Right. Doing this right? Yep. Is this cross-threaded? I have the same thing, Aero Max Ultra, very useful. Yep, I bought it a little while ago because I wanted to have like a bunch of compact. I like having small compact stuff. So, what's up, Evie? What's up, Ray? I'm trying to thread in this bar and it's not going in. So I'm supposed to thread it clockwise. Okay, let's look at this again. Yeah, I don't know. Good. Almost awake. Yeah, I hear you. That's I have the same thing, Aeromax. Yep. Why is this not threading? Is the thread not threaded right? Am I gonna have to cross thread this? What is going on here? Yeah, this is not threaded right. You're trying to schedule time off for Remurf. It's going to be pretty epic. There's going to be quite a lot of people going to Remurf this year. Not only is it going to be double the size of it was last year, which I mean, it was fairly big last year. All right, what is going on here? Am I going to have to bust out an M2 screw and try and thread this properly, or what's going on here? Can't get this piece to thread into here to push it down. It doesn't want to thread. It's very strange. Oh, I think I got it. I finally pitch in the thread. Nope. But I got it. The instructions aren't that good yet. Like I see where it's supposed to thread in, but it's not threading. It's like they forgot they threaded the one side but not the other or something. Let's try and thread this in this way. Oh, it'll thread in this way, which I guess that'll be okay. It's not the greatest movements. I think it needs a little bit more lube on it. All right. So I know at least that slides in on that side. Why doesn't it slide on this side? It's very strange. That doesn't do it. I do have a GK2. Yes, I do. I am the one that basically put the GK2 on the map. Me and one other person. Otherwise, nobody would really know about the GK2. Okay. So we got it all set up here. I actually have a print on the GK2 right now. It is the updated version of the resin printing 10 commandments that I had made, just in a much smaller version, obviously, because I printed them side by side. But yeah, look, this is awesome. Look at this thing. This is a really cool model. Just printed that thing not too long ago. All right. So chuck, slide. Okay. Typical, blah, blah, blah. 4 lights is 100. 3 lights is 75. 2 lights is what? They misspelled this. It says 4 lights is 100% LED battery. 3 lights is 75% battery. 2 lights is 75% battery. I think they meant 50% because 1 light is 25%. That would make sense. GK2 and Apex Maker 1, which one do you prefer in terms of long-lasting screen lifespan? In terms of print ability, I'll be honest. GK2, hands down, there's nothing on the market that will touch it. Nothing, let me rephrase that. Nothing on the market sub $3,000 is going to touch the GK2 in any way, shape, or form. Now, unfortunately, the GK2 is a 10-inch screen, whereas the Apex Maker, which is just off screen, this is the Galaxy 1, and the Apex Maker is just on the other side of the screen. The Apex Maker is a really cool printer, but the downside of it is because it's so insanely fast, the potential to break things is like skyrocketed through the roof. Case in point, that printer only has about 50 hours. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. Because you got to understand, I can print full volume in 4 hours. So that's a lot of hours. And the screen is already broken on it. So I do have a replacement for it. I need to get to it. I'm going to try and get to it tonight, if not tomorrow. What's up, John? How's it going? But yeah, we'll see about that when the time comes. So, but yeah, in terms of reliability, just all around usability, GK2 cannot be beaten. So, the Frozen Revo, I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed with Frozen's last resin printer release. For the Frozen, which was the Frozen 8K, which I have just out of shot here. Actually, you guys might be able to see it. It's right here. Right here. And I don't use it too much because it doesn't work as well as like the 4K did. The Mighty 4K was an amazing printer. The Mighty 8K, it's on par with a Saturn, unfortunately. And I really hate to say that. Now, is it built better than a Saturn? Absolutely, 100%, hands down. But Frozen kind of fell off the bandwagon with that one. I don't know what happened. But I can with all solemnly swear that I will not be getting the Mighty Revo. So we have agreed on some other stuff, and it's about all I can say. And so I am kind of expunged from that one. Not really expunged, but they're going to forego it. That was their words. They're going to forego me having the Frozen Revo, which is perfectly fine. To be honest, I have a 14K printer right here. That is the Nova 3D Whale 3 Ultra. And so far, it's been a disaster right out of the box. So the last couple printers that I've had, resin printers, that are that size, like 10-inch, have been just kind of okay. They haven't been anything like splashy. The GK2 might have ruined that for a lot of things, but yeah, it just hasn't been that great of experience. So the problem with this one is the LCD was broken, or so I thought. It needed a firmware update, so that fixed the LCD. Then the whole carriage was stuck. And the problem with these new printers is the carriage is all one piece, essentially. So if the build plate was stuck at the bottom here, it could not be moved up manually or automatically. I literally had to take vice grips to try and move it. And it took me like 6 hours to move it maybe 2 millimeters. Not even joking. So I was like slowly breaking it free, but it was not working. So something was wrong with it from the factory. So I literally had to had them send me a whole new top carriage for this thing to get it working. And so I got it all working. I hit print, nothing printed. I re-leveled it. I redid everything, checked it, set it to go. Still nothing on it. So I got to spend a little bit more TLC on that and get it up and running because I'd like to see it working because Nova is definitely the second best printer in my opinion. But they've been kind of going way downhill as well since the Nova 3D Elfin model. The Whale 2 wasn't anything to write home about. Like it was a more solid printer than a Frozen or a Saturn, but there was nothing really highlighting it. It was just okay. So the Apex Maker speed can be slowed down, but that's completely up to you. Me personally, if I'm going to buy a printer like that for its speed, I'm going to utilize its speed. But obviously, if you want to slow it down, that's really was the selling point on the Apex Maker was the speed. And don't get me wrong, the speed is insane. Okay. I printed a 400 millimeter print in 4 hours and 12 minutes on the Apex Maker, which is just insane. But again, it's all right. There's a lot of like really cheap stuff to it. The web camera, you could just write that thing right off. It's absolutely atrocious. It's useless. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. Literally just buy yourself an extra camera and utilize it that way because you're going to have a better experience with it, in my opinion. And yeah, so we'll just leave it at that. So, yeah, I got my mighty 4K too, but the screen might be obsolete, right? So not at this time, but I'm sure after the Revo is announced, I think they're going to be cutting their losses on the 4K. However, keep that 4K around because just like they did with the 8K minis, or I'm sorry, the 4K minis, they might have a buyback program. So if anybody didn't catch that, I don't know if it's still going on or not, or if it was just a limited time, but they had where they would buy your mini 4K. I don't know what the stipulations were about shipping it or anything like that. But they would buy your mini 4K, and I think they would give you a voucher to buy a newer printer, which was really cool. Something I had never heard anybody do before, and I think is a step in the right direction for e-waste. I think that is something that a lot of companies really should look into, possibly doing. And regardless if you get like $50 for it, I think that's a good thing, unless you can try and sell it local. But yeah. I don't know. You'd have to ask them, but I don't see why it wouldn't be, because you are buying a Frozen product. It is a Frozen machine. It's not like you're trying to return a Saturn to Frozen and do it that way, like So as long as it's their product, I think it would be okay. I don't see a major difference in that. So yeah. Clean up this drawer. This is probably not going to work as well as I wanted it to. Nope. Yeah. What's up, Raymond? How's it going, man? So we're gonna have to find a place to put this little gadget. Yeah, it sticks. It needs some lube. Needs some lube. Yeah, so we're gonna have to go through that drawer. Yep, Henry's here too. I'm just kind of chilling tonight, just chit chatting, doing a little bit of cleanup here. I've been doing some old school stuff. I've been working on retro gaming systems. I had a buddy of mine reach out and he's like, "Hey, I want a handheld retro gaming system. Can you hook one up for me and see what you can do?" I said, "Sure." It's been a while since I've done some coding on Linux, but just kind of like riding a bike again. You learn a little bit that you used to do, but there's still a lot where I'm just like, I don't remember how I did this or how I did that. So I have to look it up and I'm like, oh yeah, I got to code this way and put it in this folder and do that. So, can I take a look at your dirty area? I mean, where you post processing. Actually, I just kind of cleaned up that area. Let me grab my other camera and I'll put it on dual. Okay. Let me put this up here. Right now I have it hooked up over here because we're going to start doing streaming from this end to this table here. But let me, I think I still got this plugged in, right? Yeah. Let me plug this in. And let's add a secondary camera. Way you guys can see what's going on here. But my area is right over here. It's about 3 feet or so. Actually, you can kind of see it in the camera. I didn't realize that. Let me pull these 2 feeds over here so that way I have them together. All right. So now we're good. Old school ROMs. Yes, Google. Yeah. So this thing holds all the way up to PlayStation. I mean, I can put 64 on here, but the problem is there's not enough buttons for it. So anyway, let's God, it's been so long since I've done recording on this that I forgot how to add. There we go. Extra camera. There we go. So here, we'll share the camera right here. And essentially, this is my work area right now. Like I said, I just cleaned it up the other day. So I haven't really printed anything. So I haven't used it yet. I've just been putting stuff over here that I'm not going to use right now. But essentially, this is what it is. It's about, 3 feet of space, give or take? Let me see. I don't know where my tape measure is at right now. So we're just going to use a body tape measure. So 24, 36. So a little over 3 feet. And then, hold on, I'll show you really quick. So when I say 3 feet, technically that's 6 feet, because right underneath here I have my cure unit, and then I have my pre-wash bucket right there. Okay, so I basically take my prints, I put it in my pre-wash, rinse it up. I gotta drain it. I have I have two bottles right there. Oh god, right there. I have two bottles that I need to put into there and get that out of there because that's old stuff. It needs to be cleaned out. But that's my cure. There is something on there, so that's pretty good. But yeah, that's basically my area. I have a Wham Bam mat, slat mat, that is very good. You don't have to get the Wham Bam mat, but if you do get a silicone mat, get something with a lip. That is key. That is key right there. So yeah, I just cleaned all my tools and everything. Everything is nicely washed. Everything is decontaminated right now. I got new filter things because when I cleaned out this, it was just a disaster. So yeah, but that's essentially my work area right there. Now, at some point, I might change that. I don't know when or where, or how I'm going to change it, but yeah, we'll deal with that when the time comes. But essentially, that's how it's going to remain for the time being. So. All right. So I need another drawer. I wonder if I should design myself a drawer to go in front here. Because I really do need one. I have my laptop. I have my Stream Deck here too, which I totally forgot. I should be using my OBS. I shouldn't be using StreamYards by itself because I finally plugged in my my Stream Deck because I made a fancy mount for it. But the coolest thing that you guys can take a look at is this. This is the Revo Point Miraco scanner, and this thing is just amazing. I love this thing to death. Love everything about it. I do need to get a screen protector. In fact, I need to talk to Bullet Brand about possibly making a screen protector about this. And I did make a wall mount for it, so that way you can put it up and about. I do like a lot of wall mount stuff, so you guys probably saw on the wall here a lot of wall mounted stuff. My wiring and all the old stuff that I used to use is up there, so it's kind of nice to just have it up and out of the way. Because I don't use it too much. I just realized I could probably take that out because I think that's for my Dremel. Yeah, so that's pretty much my my wash area there, my post processing. But if you're concerned about contaminations and stuff like that, I always have it here. And then I also have a tray. I actually have two trays, but this tray, which currently has FDM prints on it because I haven't used it in a little bit, and I needed to switch my plate. But this this tray works very well, and you just basically take the plate, put it on there, and bring it over here, and you can walk anywhere in the room with that plate, which is really, really cool. I dig it. Can you dig it? Actually, you know what? That reminds me. Let's go and download my newest redesign of my stool sample so we can get printing that. Let's go up to Tinkercad. And I will be starting to dip my toes into Nomad Sculpt. I found a way to take my old little laptop that I have, which is really nice. It's a 12-inch laptop, essentially, or 11 and a half. And what's cool is, even though it's a laptop, it's actually a tablet, but it's a very powerful tablet. And, you know, it doesn't have a lot of inputs on it, but you can basically put a dock station on it and get it all situated. But I side loaded Nomad Sculpt on it, which is really, really cool. And we could do live streaming from there. We could do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. It's actually not too bad. It's not anything spectacular to write home about, but it's it'll definitely work for what you need it to. Let's go and view. I need to download stool sample. There we go. So here's a question for all of you. Oh, StreamYard's finally loaded all of the stuff, huh? That's nice. Well, some of the stuff, I should say. Not all of it. What's up, non-fam? How's it going? God, I was missing everybody's stuff. There we go. Now I can actually see everybody's comments. I actually have somebody watching on Twitter. Really? All right, cool. That's an oddball one. See? But hey, whatever floats your boat. Anyway, let's add in share screen. Let's do that. Okay. Okay, cool. We're still sharing it. Awesome. So I redesigned these. So as you can see, I've had several different iterations on how to design things because sometimes I just don't get what the hell I'm doing. And you know what? I designed these off the bat and I was like, they look off to me. Like the spacing between these are too close. These are too far. This distance is too far. These distance, like all this is wrong. It works, but it looks wrong to me. So I was like, all right, let's go back to the drawing board and start from square one again. And that's basically where I came up with these. And so I put them in green because, well, these are my final designs. Anytime I do a final design, at least in Tinkercad, I'll put them in green. So I know that these are going to be my final designs. And if I have to do any tweaks, I'll just select it and change the color and start from there. And then once I'm done with it, I'll pull it into green. So that way I just know like any iterations, you know, are going to be a different color and anything that's green is good to go. So I have two designs here. I originally went with this and I was like, you know what, that's cool. And then on the original design, I had my logo kind of hidden in there, which I was going to do for this. And I was like, you know what, that's it's subtle, but do I want something a little bit better? Let's do it a little bit bigger. So I did it. So I did it bigger, I did it wider, and I did the logo on top instead. So we're going to export both of these actually, just so I have them. And yeah. Very simple design. What's up, Carl? How's it going, man? How was your you're in a new makerspace, I see, huh? If I'm not mistaken. Looks very interesting. Okay. I'll reprint that. Let's get this going. Hey Matt, how stoked are you for the Frozen Arco? I'm pretty excited for it. I think it's a step in the right direction. My only gripe about it is that it is going through Kickstarter. However, it is the correct way to go about Kickstarter in a way. Let me explain. So, Kickstarter is meant to back a project for someone who doesn't really know what they're doing. And in a way, it's more meant for like you and I, if we were thought of something like the Arco and decided, hey, we want to bring this to light. I know about printers, you know about printers. Let's bring it to light and see how many people want to share this and print with it, whatever. That makes more sense for Kickstarter and like Indiegogo. But in terms of Frozen, while they are an established company, it is a new direction, not new direction, but a new venture that they are going to work on. And for that, it is kind of what Kickstarter is meant to be. Partial, okay? Like I said, there's that two-part. Technically, it's not meant for corporations, and if I do get my hands on one and I do a review on it, I personally cannot tell anybody to back a Kickstarter really ever, but I can at least give them the information about it and let them decide on their own. But I will say, at least in good faith, or something along the lines of like, in good faith, Frozen does have a very good track record, probably better than anybody out there that I would entrust myself with, saying that it would be okay. So take that or leave it. So for me personally, if I was going to back that Kickstarter, I would be 100% okay with it. Now, if you're going to get back that Kickstarter, I'll let you take those words of encouragement and figure out if that's something you want to do or not and go from there. But yeah, I'm definitely very excited for the Arco. I know some stuff about it. I know some things about what's going on with it, but there's nothing I can really share, unfortunately, publicly. Not that I'm under contract or anything like that, or like an NDA, or nothing like that. It's just more or less a mutual respect. But we'll see if we can try and get our hands on one. I'm not holding my breath, but it would be really cool to check that out. But right now, Frozen does have the mighty Revo coming out as well. So we'll see. So did you kickstart the co-print at all? I was hoping to try that out on my K1 Max. I did not. I was going to try and reach out to them to get some information on it, because I do have a mutual friend of theirs, and he knows them very well. He had discussed it with me at IRF. This was way before it was even publicly made. Any information about it, really. Actually, they were just starting to put information about it, but nothing about a Kickstarter or anything like that. They were just kind of like doing some teasers at that time. And I knew some inside information about it, couldn't really say anything. And I was going to reach out to them, but I was like, you know what? It's an add-on system. And I'm just kind of over that stuff, to be honest. As much as I am a tinkerer at heart, I love doing things like that. The problem with doing something like that and trying to film content for it is very hard to do for me. Because I'm a type of person where it's like, I just want to do it, get it done and over with, and that's it. And I always forget to hit record or just record the things that people need to know. So it's just like, doing that, there's not much of a drive for me doing it anymore. So, and again, I'm mostly resin nowadays, so it's just kind of an odd man out. So, doing okay. I'm doing good. Doing good, non-fam. But yeah, we'll see about it. I haven't really heard anything about the co-print, to be honest, like from anybody else besides that one person. So, what's up, Van? How's it going, man? I'm doing pretty good. Just kind of cleaning up and chit chatting here and there, and that's really about it. So, yeah, it's been good. Did you get the Frozen Mighty Revo? I have not. We're in talks about some stuff, and I kind of left that off the table. And you missed the conversation a little bit earlier about it, but well, I'm all out of Mexican Coke actually. Unfortunately, I ran out of my regular Cokes, so I had to drink my Mexican Cokes. And the other problem is the wife bought it for me at Costco, but by the time I touched it, about half of the case was already gone. So I only had about 12 of them. So yeah. Anyway, off track, ADHD. Going back to the Mighty Revo. So me and Frozen have decided to part on that one. It wasn't anything for the bad. It was just we just talked about some other stuff. But in my opinion, I'm not saying it's a bad product. It looks like a very solid product. I have something that is a 14K printer. With that being said, don't let marketing go to your head. A lot of those printers that are coming out on the market are saying like these are the most resolution printers. That's great and all, but the problem is they don't match up the resolution to the pixel density. So it's like it is a 14K printer, but when it comes down to brass taxes, it's really like an 8K, okay, or a 10K. You're not going to notice it, okay? I can almost guarantee, and at some point I will get to doing a video, and I really wish I still had my 4K printer, but I'll definitely print some stuff from like the big 8K, the 7K, or is that 6K? I forget what the Mighty is, or the M3 Max. Actually, no, I got a 2K printer. That's right. I got a little G-Tech over here in the corner. That's right, I do. And oh wait, no, the Saturn's 4K, isn't it? Maybe I do have that. Never mind. Maybe I do have that. Anyway, I'm gonna try and make a video comparing the differences between it, and basically say, you guys tell me the difference, because I sure as hell can't tell. So, and I guarantee nobody else would. And I'll even do a semi close-up, not a macro lens, because you will notice the difference on a macro lens. But for the naked eye, I will take that with me. I will travel everywhere in the world and show people that and be like, you tell me what is what. Okay, one of them's a 2K, one of them's a 4K, one of them's an 8K, and one of them's a 14K. You tell me the differences. Actually, I think I even got a 12. I do have a 12K upgrade kit. So I'll even throw in a 12K in there. I'll do all of them and be like, you tell me the differences. They're all made on a similar designed printer. They're all 10-inch screens and whatnot. So, but yeah, pretty much anything past, I'd say 4K, you're not going to see it. The only time that stuff like that really matters is when you get to things like this, these big printers, because what happens is the higher the resolution, the better the pixel density is on them, because they have a massive screen. They need that to be better. So out of anything, an upgrade kit for like the Mega would be a good thing. Okay. That would actually might yield some good results. But in its own, it yields damn good results right out of the gate. I've shown that time and time again. That printer has done me worlds of favors in printing great models. So, good. Thanks, bud. Just chilling. Awesome. Yeah, I've had a hard time noticing anything past 8K. My 8K Mega still does a good job. Great. Yep, exactly. Exactly what I was just saying. I love my Mega. The Mega 8KS is just proven to be just as good. My only downfall on it is that it's 100 millimeters shorter. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more budget friendly, but you want the tankness of what the Mega 8K is, 100% go with the 8KS. But if you got the money, go with the 8K. It's definitely worth every penny. It has been. It's been a fantastic printer. I've replaced the screen once, and really the screen didn't technically need to be replaced. I mean, it did. But I broke the screen back before anybody really got the unit. I broke it about 6 months in because I was doing speed settings before it got onto the market. And I put a dimple in the front left side here. And I just kept printing with it. So I would just replace FET films because I was too lazy to replace it. So I would print something and it would destroy the FET film. I'd repair it, destroy the FET film, and just that's how it was. And then one day I was like, you know what, Frozen, can you guys quote me on a screen? And they're like, don't worry about it, bud. We'll send it to you. We know you technically broke it, a long time ago. You told us. I was like, that's really awesome. And actually, this has a dying pixel in it. At least one of them in the front right here. There is a dead pixel. But the thing is the not pixel, dead LED. So the LEDs are actually so bright that they compensate for that loss of light. Now, obviously, if more start going out, then we're going to have to end up replacing the array. But there is one dead LED array on that set. But the print still works perfectly fine. It's crazy how insane that printer is. I absolutely love that thing. I mean, there's nothing that has really matched for the size and the reliability of that. The eMake's getting up there, but that's a completely different printer. I mean, we're talking about apples to oranges on it. So yeah. Let's see. I'd love a fast printer with a large build volume with an actual laser, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. So that's the trade-off, unfortunately. You're trading laser for speed. Unfortunately, there is no laser that is fast that I'm aware of. That is at least in terms of what we use for resin printers. Because just like laser resin printers are more like FDM. That is the comparative to it. They do a great job at bonding specific resins together. Actually, all resins, but this is where like the top tier engineering resins really, really shine because of the laser and the heat that it gives off, it actually hot cures and bonds it together. So instead of you needing to put it in an oven to I forget what they call it, but like you're essentially like baking the resin together to make it better. It bonds better. Annealing. There we go. It basically does a good portion of that already. Now, I'm not saying it does it 100%, but it bonds it together. So take, for example, okay, you have DLP and LCD. Those bond the resin to about 60%. Okay. And then you use a curing chamber to cure the rest to 100% cure. Okay. That's why, like, if you took a resin print off of an LCD printer and you touched it, after you dripped it off and everything, it's fairly sticky. Okay. And if you did that with the laser, it'd be a little bit less sticky. It's kind of a weird analogy to not analogy, but a weird thing to say, but you'll get my point if you get the chance to compare them. But yeah, with laser, the bonding process is like 80%. So you're already like almost all the way there. And that's because it literally lasers on. Now, that laser system, the e-make might be slightly different. That would probably be like 65-70% because it's a different style laser. It's a sweep laser. So it's more like an LCD, but it sweeps the part instead of printing one whole part. So LCD would just put the whole thing on there and that's how it cures, right? Whereas laser literally just draws it on and then it just goes through. So it would literally be like up, down, up, down, up, down, all the way around, then here, then here, then here. And then it would get all the details and everything, all the little lines and everything. And then it would raise up and then go and do that again. With the sweeping laser, it kind of does the same thing, but it's more like an LCD in a way. So it's like the in-between. So it sweeps. So it literally just takes the laser as a beam and just goes sweep, 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 sweep. It's still just as slow as a laser printer, but it lasers a little bit differently. So it's kind of the redheaded stepchild of the resin printing world. It's a very oddball one. So, do you know if the 8K Mega S screen fits on the 8K Mega? From what I was told, they are supposedly the same LCD. Now, I have not confirmed or checked that, but I swore that was something that was said to me, if I'm not mistaken. So, to confirm this, let's go to their website really quick and let's go to parts. Let's go to spare LCD. Go to US store. And so they have the Mega series. So it says 18-inch 8K mono LCD module, Sonic Mega 8K and 8KS. So yes, they are the same screen. And it looks like the price has come down quite a bit on those. It's still shitty for shipping. Wait, what? Hold on. What the hell? Oh, I'm looking at something that's there's a glitch on their thing. Anyway. All right. So, yeah, it looks like it's about 345. Shoot, I remember when these things were like $5.99 and then $100 in shipping. So, to be honest, I need to upgrade my resin printer, not used resin in ages. That just shows I am still on the vintage Creality LDR. Oh my goodness, that's old school, man. It's a great printer though. I loved my LDR. It was a workhorse. That actually it surprised me very much when Creality came out with their printers. So here's hoping for Amazon store for those screens. I want to say that they have them on Amazon. I swear I was browsing one day and mono LCD screen, 15-inch Sonic Mega 8K, $363.29 here in the USA. So that's not bad. That's a damn good price, actually. And I can get it here by Wednesday. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good deal. It's not bad. I can't believe it's not bad. Right? I mean, technically it's not free shipping, but whatever. But the cool thing is, since Frozen did something that I think was a good move on their part, because they're starting to venture into the FDM market, they finally decided to open up a US market warehouse. So somewhere in the United States, there is a Frozen warehouse, or at least a warehouse that stocks Frozen parts and printers and resins and whatnot, which is great because shipping was exponentially expensive from Taiwan because the stronghold that China has over Taiwan is just ridiculous. Now, getting stuff shipped to Taiwan is hella cheap. Getting stuff shipped out of Taiwan, that is a completely different story because you have to go through China. And China and Taiwan, they do not get along at all. There's a whole history behind that. You can look it up. You can learn about it. It's still ongoing today. And yeah, they just get the brunt of it. And it really sucks. So it's kind of nice that they decided to go that route and get it all situated. So, you could even get a bill plate, $159 for a bill plate. And they have LCD screen protectors. Now it's just a screen protector. So, in my opinion, get a Bullet brand is probably a better screen protector, in my opinion, or even a Mach 5 if you got one. Those would probably be the better ones. So, but yeah. Anyway. The only thing I will be using it for is doing models to make silicone molds for casting, but I think the LDR is a tortoise now. Absolutely is. It's still faster than most FDM printers. In fact, a good portion of them. I'd say probably 98% of printers that you can buy right out of the box, definitely for the price range, you can beat every printer in its price range FDM-wise. So, yeah, Bullet Brand has always been my go-to. I love working with Bullet Brand. He's a fantastic guy. Always here to help out. So he's actually the one that created the new logo that I have. If you guys didn't see it, because as much as there's one of the part of the logo right here. There we go, right here. So that's part of it, the resin printing god, because as everybody on TikTok has deemed me the resin printing god. It started off as a joke. It wasn't something that I was going to go with. And then eventually I was like, you know what? It's an interesting shtick, and it gets people kind of riled up a little bit. So it's a little bit of engagement. It's still not my best thing to use, but I just decided, hey, screw it. You know what? The internet is going to have a problem with whatever you go with. So might as well have fun with it. So I am. So I am now known as your resin 3D printing god, Akuma Mods. So, yeah. And then it turned into this whole crazy thing where people generated an intro song for me. People created the 10 Commandments, which is just hysterical. I damn near fell out of my chair when somebody posted that up. His name is Marvel 3D UK. And I still laugh about it to this day. It was hilarious seeing that. But then it turned into somebody decided to ask AI to write a Bible verse about me, or Bible, with me being the resin printing god. And that was just another hysterical thing. But it's funny because it kind of fits, you know. The symbol that I use, the kanji or kanji, however you want to say it, that means sky, heaven in Japanese, I believe it is. And it's based off of the Akuma character in Street Fighter. That is the symbol on his back. And it's kind of ironic because Akuma is devil, and the sign is heaven and sky. So it kind of all fits in. And then my name, being Matt, is a I forget how I looked it up, but it was like the son of God type thing. And so it played in all nicely. And I was just like, this is too much. It was too funny, too many things coinciding with each other. And the funny thing about all of this is I am not a religious person in any way, shape, or form. I don't care if you're a religious person. We can talk about it if you want. I know some little things here and there. So, I mean, I have no problem discussing and chatting and talking about religion if people do, but, you know, it's not something that I'm just going to offer up freely. You know, it's just, it usually has to be something that's in a conversation starter. But anyway, it was too funny and too coincidental about everything. So, I was surprised to see Soraya Tech making Soraya Tech Defiant 25 Platinum Silicone Mold Making DIY Kit. You know, I saw that before they even talked about it publicly. I accidentally stumbled upon it one night while I was browsing on Amazon, actually. And it was really hidden in a listing. And I forgot exactly how we were talking about it, but I want to say somebody was like asking me about some Soraya Tech resin. And in my opinion, I'm just okay with Soraya Tech. I don't really care for it all that much. I do have two resins specifically that I really like from them. That is that lime green resin that they have. And then their glow in the dark resin, which is really cool. But everything else, I mean, I have from other companies, so I don't really utilize it. And I don't usually buy Soraya Tech except for those two. Anyway, so we were talking about it, and I was just browsing on Amazon, and it happened to pop up like out of the blue, and I was like, what the hell is this? And I caught a glimpse of it on a picture, and so I searched it on Google, and I was like, what is this? And I found the listing, and it popped up the Amazon listing, and it wasn't listed anywhere on Amazon. Like, you couldn't search for it unless you did a Google search for it. Because again, it was like a picture and a background of a resin thing. And yeah, so I just ended up finding it out of the blue. And I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting that they have this whole like silicone making kit. That's kind of cool. I don't know if I ever use it, but if I ever do need it, that would be really cool to make like dice masters and stuff like that. Like, you could essentially sell the 3D printed dice, and then you could be like, hey, you have the dice here. Here's a mold kit for you to make your own molds out of this and make this a master dice kit. And you could essentially just make your own molds, which I think would be really, really cool. So, yeah. Anyway, all praise Cthulhu. Yeah. Anyway, I've been ranting on about nonsense. So, yeah, it was the same. I was looking for mold kits on Amazon, and it popped up. Yep. It was really weird. It came out of the Blue Lagoon. That's the Mega 8K. Now, the cool thing about the Mega, so going back to the Mega, so Frozen is going to be, well, they've kind of announced it. I don't know when they're going to release it, but they will be releasing the Frozen Sonic Mega version 2, which I am absolutely excited about. It's going to have an auto refill station. It'll have the updated board and motors and everything like that Mega 8KS has. So you can put a little bit of speed on it. Like, I've ran that thing pretty good in terms of speed, but I can do double or half the time on the Mega AKS than I can the Mega. So it's still fast, but the Mega AKS can do it faster, and I'm not worried about breaking something with the Mega AKS. It's just good right out of the gate. So I think that'll be a nice little step up, and they seem to be moving a little bit more proprietary. So like back in the day, I say back in the day, it's only about a year ago. All their printers took CTB, and they still take CTB, but now they take PHR or PHZ files, which you can basically update it and or make it faster. So have you done the Mighty 8K upgrade to 12K? Is it worth it? So everybody that I've talked to behind the scenes says it's not worth it. You're going to get no better quality out of a 12K than you are an 8K, which that goes back to the whole pixel density. That 14K printer will be just as good as the 8K printers that I have here from 2 years ago or a year ago. 2 years now. So it's just the fact that they're the size and the quality of the screen don't match the resolutions. That's the problem. I do have the upgrade to do the 12K upgrade on the Mighty. I just don't know if I'm going to do it. I also have the GK2 upgrade to do 12K as well, which it's sitting right on top of that printer, as well as the Wi-Fi module. So at some point, I'll probably end up doing that. But like I said, the results are just going to be meh from everybody that I've talked to. So, yeah. Oh my God, did they actually put the build plate on it? Yay, that's awesome. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool. Everything is awesome. Oh, that's Mighty. That's fine. There we go. Okay. I thought Shitubox finally updated their slicer and added the build plate look onto the actual plate. Because, like, if you load up the Mega 8KS, it actually shows the plate with the perforations and everything on it, which is kind of cool. Well, sort of shows the perforations, but it shows the build plate actually on it. So, to be honest, I think it's got to the point with resin printers where how much detail can you get in a model? I agree, and I think that's really what it is. But unfortunately, there's this big old thing that people get reeled into all the time, the same way that they did with televisions back in the day, and that is marketing. As long as you market it and market it and market it, push it real good, it goes a long way. And that's unfortunate. But yeah, that's something I really, really despise about a lot of companies. And I get it. It is marketing. It's marketing tactics 101. I understand that's how business goes, but it's just irks me every time I see it. So 12K on GK2 isn't much. Yep. What's your thoughts on a lot of people receiving their Apex Maker X1 printers with broken internals? I'm very skeptical about that. I really don't want to put what's my go-to resin? That's a really tough one. I don't usually have a go-to resin nowadays. It used to be eSun plant-based, but in general, my go-to style of resin is ABS-like. Doesn't matter who makes it. They're pretty much all the same across the board, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, ABS-like 100%. Anyway, going back to the Apex. Thanks, ADHD. The it's just very strange. And I get a lot of people are frustrated with it because they've been waiting so long. And I don't think it's a packaging issue. And a lot of people think it is. And I know for a fact that that's not it. I work in a warehouse. I've worked in shipping. I've done packaging. I've done the works. So like you understand how things are packaged, and those printers are packaged very good. So in order for them to have such a detrimental impact on the interior of them, something major must have happened to them. And it's it couldn't have been something that happened in transit. And I really think that it happened at factory. Somebody was negligent on what they were doing, over tightened some stuff. And while they were moving it, that over tightened, because they're essentially brass risers that are breaking, which can easily, break. I think that's really where it stems from. So it's not necessarily, it is the shipping, but it's not the primary factor of it. It's kind of like going to an aquarium and you cracking the glass. And then at some point down the line, that glass finally gives way and it cracks open. And then somebody's like, oh, well, it's the stress of the ocean that's in there or whatever, the water, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't. It was because of that damage that superseded that. So it was just a matter of time that it happened. And I think that's exactly what's happening, is that there was some negligence on the building process, because it is a Kickstarter and it seemed to be a little bit rushed out to people, because people are just friggin' impatient, and that out of anything just irks me. Like, people just need to back it and just understand that it's going to come to them. Like, take, for example, the Tiny Maker. The Tiny Maker is a handheld resin printer. It's like this big, okay? Not even joking. It's enough to do like a mini figure, a 50 millimeter mini figure. Maybe a little bit bigger. I think it's 100 mil. But anyway, that project has surpassed its shipping date by about 4 or 5 months. And yeah, that project is still being updated constantly. And everybody's like, oh my God, what am I going to expect it? What am I going to expect this? What am I going to expect it? And here I am, just like, I threw money at it. It comes, it comes. That's it. I really don't care when it comes. I'm trying to push them to get it to me as soon as possible, because I'd like to show it around. But if they can't, they can't. I asked them the same thing last year. Like, hey, I'm going to some conventions. I'd like to take it with me. Can I have it in my hands? Well, they couldn't. So it is what it is. But anyway, that I think is kind of a product of that, is that people saw that and was like, oh my God, I need to get these out to people. And that became a problem. So they rushed some things. They got some temporary help maybe to move things along, expedite things. And that's the result of it. Because I've seen quite a few lately that have showed up that have been good. So, but yeah. So basically, how far up in Ks do you need to go before you stop noticing detail change now? I think at about 4K, you're good. Anything after that, the only way that you're going to notice the difference between the resolutions is with a macro lens. The naked eye will probably not see past 4K, in my opinion. Maybe even 2K. But if you search on the internet how much an eye can see, it says that you can see a hell of a lot more than that. But I find that hard to believe, because not everybody's eyes are created equal, right? So while that may be true for somebody that has 20/20 vision or something, or perfect vision, which is 20/20, I don't see that ever happening, which I can almost guarantee that maybe 95% of the people that I, excuse me, that I've met in this industry have some sort of an eyesight problem. So, but yeah, yeah. In my opinion, you're not going to see anything past 4K. I haven't, at least. Um, Now, there are little things that you can tweak to make it look a little bit better. And that is, okay, some printers allow you to go down to point. So a stock resin printer is 0.050. You can essentially bring that down and go to 0.030 or 0.010, depending on if the printer allows it or not, which most printers don't, but there are some printers that do. And essentially what that does is it gets rid of the layer lines. But there's so much included in that. It's just like, I bought an Ender 3 and I bought a Bamboo, right? Let's just say that. I printed the same model. They both come out good, right? But the Bamboo's going to do it just slightly better. But the thing is they both are printing on the same settings. Okay? So there's other things that you can do to help make it better. So I can essentially have a 2K print that looks far superior than anybody's 14K print. Or even better, I'll go back to the 1080 days. Okay, I'll go and get myself what was that round cylinder thing that I had? The Idea Maker. It was literally a cylinder with a build plate on it and a button. That's it. No LCD, no nothing. You just loaded the file, hit print, and hope that everything was good. If you press the button again, I think it paused it, and that was about it. You had like 2 or 3 settings on it that you could do. But yeah, there's a whole slew of things that can make the world of difference. And there was one person I saw that it literally triggered me just watching this, because it was a clickbaity video. I knew it was going to be clickbaity, and it just got under my skin even more when I watched it, because he was like comparing the Saturn 2K, or was it the Mars? I forget which one it was. It was either the Mars 4K to the Mars 8K. No, it was the Saturn. So it was the original Saturn versus the Saturn 2. And he was just like, oh my God, my mind is blown. Look at the difference between these two prints. And I'm like, yeah, but there's so many different factors in that. Like, even if you use the same resin with the same settings, the settings might not be correct on both of those. How many hours do you have printed on this original Saturn compared to this brand new Saturn? So you got to take into degradation on the original Saturn. So while you're printing and 2.5 seconds works, technically it might need 2.8 seconds to be perfect. And that a lot of people don't look into. And that's, again, I understand it's shock value, and people don't ask those questions too often because they don't know. And it really triggers me because I'm the person that does know that. And so it's hard to explain that to people and get that through. And that's the same thing that I have, like, when I tell people the difference between a Saturn 2K or a Saturn 2 and a Frozen Sonic Mighty 8K, and then the Uniformation GK2. The difference between the GK2 and those two other printers are vastly different. They both print. They both do their job well. But the thing is the failure rate that I get off of the GK2 is almost non-existent compared to the other two. I've had at least 12 failures on the Mighty and at least 12 failures, if not more, on the Saturn. The GK2, I've had one. And do you know why I had one failure? Because my dumbass didn't support it properly. After that support accident, have not had an issue since. I literally click and print. That is how insane the GK2 is over every other printer. And to try and get that point across, because the other thing is the price range is so vastly different between a Saturn or even an Anycubic versus the GK2, that trying to get that point across. I mean, even trying to do that, the Saturn and an Anycubic versus a Frozen is the same problem, because people just see it's a 12K printer, it's $250 or $400 compared to a GK2 that's a 5K printer or an 8K printer that is $900, you know? So it's really hard to say, like, to get that point across. And that's my biggest gripe about doing content in general with that. So yeah, I have 50-year-old eyes now, so mine's not so good at sight. Yep, I'm getting close up there. I'm hitting a big 4.0 this year. Getting a refund on your Bamboo A1 to pay for my Frozen Arco. That's I think that's a good choice, in my opinion. Yeah, I remember the days when the Saturn came out, everyone's mind was blown that much it was hard to get a hold of a Saturn. And what was funny is I was able to get Saturns. I ended up staying up. Well, I mean, I'm usually up at this time of night. Like, it's 2:00 right now. And for some reason, I just decided to check Amazon, and they had restocked. And they only put 13 up there. So I had enough to buy 7 of them. So I bought 7 printers. They were absolutely trash, every single one of them. It's the worst mistake I ever did. I ended up selling all of them. And I never liked Elegoo after that. So, yeah, never doing that one again. That's why I'm still pretty satisfied with my Mini Mighty Mega. Yep, I agree. Haven't felt the need to upgrade anything else. Now, I will agree with the Mini and the Mega. The Mighty 8K has just been, it hasn't been that great. I'm a little disappointed in it, to be in all honesty. Now, I do have a flex plate that I think might remedy some of the issues that I've had, because I really think that it's got a bad build plate. And I've tried sanding it, I've tried releveling it, and just things aren't sticking to one side of it. And no matter what I do, what I try, it's still the same. So I'm just like, somebody sent me build plates for stuff, so I have it. I'm gonna put it on there and just call it a day and try and print from there and see if it is, because the last time that I printed with it, it partially failed again. So I was like, all right, I'm done with it. That's why I didn't mess with it for a while. So it is what it is. And yeah, that's basically what I left it at. Well, as of right now, I'm a little disappointed with the Mighty 8K. And that's one of the reasons why I was just kind of a little bit less excited about the Revo. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm excited for it. It's a really nice looking printer. But it's just the same regurgitated crap that everybody else is doing, to be honest. And I'm not really looking forward to it. Maybe their next endeavor, absolutely. The Arco, definitely very interested in that. So we'll see. It's like you said, it was down to marketing. Elegoo did the marketing, 100%. and everyone went out and pre-ordered it, and you couldn't get a hold of it. And it came to the point where people got brand religion. Yep, 100%. That is when everything turned. You couldn't steer anybody away from Elegoo because Elegoo at the time provided amazing customer support, and they could not be beat for the price that they were getting the printer. Even though we owe all of these new printers to Frozen, because Frozen was the only one that decided to say, hey, there's a monochrome screen out there. Let's try and use that. And they ended up finding out that, hey, guess what? Instead of printing at 7 seconds a layer, we can now print at 1.5 seconds a layer. And my mind was instantly blown when I heard that. I was like, how is this possible? Like, you're not changing resins. How are you guys doing this? And they kept saying monochrome and RGB. And for some reason, it was not clicking in my head, even though I worked with retro gaming systems and we used a BW screen. But that was the thing. We called it a BW screen, not a monochrome screen. So I was like, is it a special layering on it? Like, what's going on? I had never heard the terminology monochrome for black and white. So I ended up buying the original Frozen Sonic Mini, right? Yeah, Frozen Sonic Mini with the red top. And I bought it with my own money. And I unboxed it, did a print, did everything live stream, and it died right after that. I think it was like an hour after that. What's up, Crystal? How's it going? By the way, you guys, you can join in if you want. It's up to you. I'm just spewing nonsense as usual. Here. All you have to do is enter in this stuff that's on the ticker here. Enter in that, and you can join if you want. You can join directly from your phone if you want. But anyway, so that actually started my whole journey. My first interaction with Frozen was that it was a pile of garbage. It was, how do you send me a brand? Well, they didn't send me. How did Amazon send me a brand new printer? I unbox it. Everything's good. I did the live stream for 45 minutes because, I mean, unboxing a resin printer ain't nothing. And a post Super Bowl nap. Nice. So yeah, I unboxed the printer, got it printing, and an hour after the live stream, it died. And I was like, what's going on here? Turns out that they had some faulty power supply switches. And at the time I was like, I'm not going to fix another printer. I had just started fixing this one printer and I was done with it. And I'm like, resin printers are basically, you take them out of the box, you use them. You shouldn't be fixing them brand new. So I sent it packing, and I guess someone at Frozen saw that, and he was like, you know what? Why don't you give us a second chance, and we'll send you a unit. And God, I forgot how it all started though. I think it was at the Mighty 4K it was. So no, was it the Mighty? It was the Mighty. But I didn't have any reputation with that. So I don't know. They just took a chance on me. And I was absolutely blown away because, like, that was a big brand new printer coming out, because the Saturn was an 8.9. This Frozen Mighty 4K was a 9.3 inch. So it was a bigger printer. And they took a chance and they were like, hey, we'll send it to you. And that was, the rest is history. Like, that's when we started our journey together, was the Mighty 4K. And it was a fantastic printer. I still have the print right here. That was my first print. First print off the Mighty. Absolutely ecstatic. I was like, you guys sent me an awesome, huge printer. Because at the time, those were big printers. They were large printers. And I just decided, hey, you know what? We got a big printer. Let's go all balls to the wall. And so I put that on there and it printed perfect. I was like absolutely blown away. So it was just crazy. Yeah, in the UK, we always knew the term as monochrome or BW as the term for gray, black or white for years. I think that was we got taught gray, black. Yeah. And I, at some point, so you guys got to understand, okay, I am a high school dropout, and my education, my true education level is probably about 7th grade. So you got to think like 12 years old. That's my education level. Okay. So, right. So, but again, I'd never heard of that terminology in my life. It was something completely new to me. So, it was very interesting, and yeah, that's how they did it. Sometimes it was green. Yep. See, I just knew them as a monitor. That's it. A green computer monitor. Or a black and green computer monitor. Anyway. I got that print. All right. That's what I was doing. So let's put up our new design on here. We'll do some test prints on here. Well, what the hell? Anyway. Some light supports. I think I adjusted the support settings on this. Like that. Right? I remember playing, oh God, Oregon Trail. Or a game that I used to love called Piccadilly. I loved memory games. I loved them so much. Here, Crystal, if you're still here, you can join. Send you a link if you want to. It's up to you. I sent it to you on Facebook. Anyway. Let's share. Let's share, shall we? Shall we? All right. So we have these all set up here. Probably don't need 7mm, but I think I have this as light 1 because I changed some of the stuff to try and minimize pitting. Because that's one of the things I want to work on this year, is trying to minimize support pits on some stuff. So I'm trying to experiment with it. Well, we're just going to do basic stuff. We're going to do maybe 20% platform. See how ridiculous it is. Oh, that's too much. That's way too much. We're going to stop that. Let's do 10%. Probably still going to do that much. It's a little too less. But that's fine. We'll manually add some stuff. Actually, we should see if we could try and roll with this. I doubt it. One here, one here, one here, one here. Maybe. See what we could get away with in terms of support. Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, let's see if we could get away with this. Doubt it, but don't worry about it. $3 and 27 minutes. Good lord. Still not camera ready? You're not ready for your close up, Mr. DeVille? Well, I forgot. I'm swapping all the drives of my printers. I can't remember if I used them all or not. I didn't think I did. Yeah, so I'm switching up the drives to these little tiny micro SanDisk ones. All of this because we don't need that. Oh God, I broke it. Mega City. Looks like my camera was unplugged. Awesome. That's definitely not the right camera. I think my USB card is going. We've been having some issues with it lately. There we go. I just have a cheap USB drive or yep. So these are the new designs, and because like I'll show you. We'll do a test print of it, but yeah, the original designs, I didn't do the greatest job on that. I eyeballed it, to be honest. So here, I'll show you really quick. Nope. So here, we'll share. All right. So the original designs are here, and I have my logo in the bottom there. But as you can see, like I literally just winged these. So if I like ungroup all this, you'll see they're spaced to the way that I thought that they needed to be. And in some ways they look okay, but you can tell like these are closer than these are. And the same thing with this. These are not spread the way that they need to be. Same with these, same with this and this. And like they just don't line up the way that they're intended to. They just look really funky. And really what I was focusing on is how they line up here on this part. So I was like, yeah, as long as they're lining up there, that's great. But they still didn't line up all that great the way that they needed to. So like you could see this one has a little bit of a gap, whereas this one does not. You know, very, very minuscule compared to that one. That's pretty noticeable. So, you know, like that's a noticeable gap. This one, no gap. No gap whatsoever. That one's right on it. You zoom in, there's a little tiny one, but for the most part, it isn't. So I was like, all right, let's go ahead and do this. So I started designing some stuff. I was like, let's take 4 pillars. All right, that's good. Okay, how do I get this structure? Because originally when I did this, I just winged the structure. I took 4 pillars, put them on there, centered it, and then all I did was angle them to a certain area, and I did them one by one. I didn't group them together and do it. So it wasn't the greatest, and I don't know what the hell I was thinking when I was doing it, because as you can see, it doesn't look right. So I ended up coming to this aspect, and I was like, all right, I need them to stick out far, though. I want it to be bigger as well. So let's do this. And so I did a TP setup, and so I basically took a round plate, put it in the bottom, and grouped it together. And here we have our 2 final products. So instead of having the logo on the bottom side, I now have it on the top side, or I have a blank one. So we're basically, I'm going to test out both of these, but as you can see, they're much better. They're more evenly grouped, and everything is all nice and even now. Everything lines up the way that it is intended and is supposed to be. So that's basically what we did, and that's how we're going to do it. So we'll see how it prints and go from there. And yeah. All right. successful. I have some resin already put up here. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Check to make sure that that's tight. Yes. And that's got to stay closed because that is some volatile resin. Anyway. I'm just amazed that 7 people are still watching here. So it looks all right, but I did see some weird anomalies. So the ring at the bottom, you saw that the foot leg was sticking out a little bit of it on the bottom side. So I think I need to bring that ring in because I want to hide it. I want to have it like the original design. So we might have to tweak it a little bit, but I'm going to try and test it out and see how it is because I need the fitment. I want it to be more of a better fitment for the stool sample and go from there. The other one I need to reprint this. Which, if you guys don't know about these are a lifesaver as well. These USB angles. Oh, man. They work so well in my setup for a lot of stuff. We're going to use 200 grams. Let's bring this guy down. We're going to scale him down a little bit. We're going to print him in thermochromatic, which essentially prints whatchamacallit. It shit. Yeah, we can't do that. Shit. It's thermochromatic, so it changes color. It goes from gray to purple. Damn it. I messed this one up. Well. Good enough. All right. With this, that. Let's see what color we got here. We have dual silk, and this is red and green. Interesting. Throw this on the flash forge. Ah. Well, I think we're going to give it about another half hour. We're going to call it a night. 3 o'clock my time. Actually, I should call it. It's getting to be 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. It's getting to be 2 hours live streaming here, and that's usually what I try and keep it at. So, actually, we might end this in a couple minutes. So. I do thank everybody for stopping in and chit-chatting and asking questions. Always love to answer questions. Need to start Prince 2. Well, I figured I'd throw in on the I have the Flash Forge Adventure at 5M Pro. Why not have both the Bamboo and the 5M Pro busting out Cinderwing Dragons and Cinderwing catalog? To get it going. How do you go home? Really need to learn how to use the damn printer. Flash Forge. It's literally a copy of the P1X, but slightly better because this comes with a 0.4 nozzle and a 0.6, a better hot end, a better camera, a better screen, smaller build volume. This is only 220 squared, so slightly smaller, which is a little disappointing. And then it's much lighter as well. So, yes, I am off work every Monday, but I do have to take the kids to school tomorrow morning. So, I got to be up at least 7. So, but I can also come home and go back to bed too. So, anyway, I'm going to end the stream here. It's 2 hours in our stream. I thank you all for stopping in and chit chatting. Probably try and do this again at another time. It's fairly new. I've had it for a little while. I just haven't been printing too much with it. I printed this, like you guys saw me print this. This is the titanium, the burnt titanium. I printed a couple prints in it because that's the test that they have. So, so yeah, I just got to learn it a little bit. But yeah, thank you guys all for stopping in and chit chatting. I will see you all again. Till next time.